When you said that you found multiple bottles, a majority of them were almost empty, that was not true, correct?
Yes, sir, Mike.
So you have no idea why Ms. Salinas had those bottles?
At the moment, I cannot recall.
You also said that you smelled alcohol on Ms. Salinas's breath. I would like you to go through and find where you put that you smelled alcohol on Ms. Salinas's breath in your report.
I would people call Officer Brown to the stand.
Good afternoon, officer. Will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony about to give to this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You can have a seat.
Good morning, Officer Brown.
Good morning.
How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thanks for asking. Will you say your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Yes, Ryan Brown, Brown.
And Officer Brown, where are you a police officer at?
The city of Thornton.
How long have you been a police officer at the city of Thornton?
Coming up on 4 years.
Now, on November 25th, 2025, were you on duty?
Yes, sir.
At approximately around 3:03 p.m., did you respond to a dispatch call for a drunk driver?
Yes, sir.
What did you learn from that dispatch call?
From what I remember, a witness observed a vehicle, I believe, crashing into something in a parking lot at a store off 91st and Washington. They called it in saying that the vehicle then left the parking lot southbound through the parking lot.
Did dispatch give you a license plate for that vehicle?
Yes, sir.
What did you do after that?
Once I got dispatched, I used our police resources to locate that vehicle. And I then observed the vehicle traveling eastbound on 88th Avenue, just past Washington Street.
Was that in Adams County, Colorado?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Did it have the same license plate that you received through your dispatch call?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you make contact with the driver of that vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Do you see that person, the driver, in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Could you please point that person out and identify a piece of clothing they're wearing?
She's sitting down with the gray cardigan.
Let the record reflect that the witness identified the defendant, Ms. Salinas.
The record was so reflect.
Now, when you made contact with Ms. Salinas, what did you observe?
I observed her exiting the vehicle. She was, from what I remember, she was using the vehicle to assist her as she did not appear very steady on her feet.
Okay. Did you notice any signs of intoxication?
I did, yes, sir.
What did you observe?
I observed an odor of an unknown alcoholic substance on her breath, as well as red bloodshot watery eyes.
Did Ms. Salinas make any statements about alcohol or drugs?
I cannot remember.
Do you remember any statements at all that the defendant made to you?
I cannot remember.
So did you observe anything in the vehicle?
I did observe some alcoholic, I believe they were shooters, as well as other bottles in the car.
Were these bottles full, empty, partially empty?
I cannot remember.
Will you refresh your memory to look at the police report?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, permission to approach the witness?
You may.
So how many bottles did you observe in that car, and what was the condition of those bottles?
Approximately 3 bottles, and the majority of them were almost empty. They appeared to be drunk from.
Do you remember any statements Ms. Salinas made about those bottles?
I cannot remember.
Did she tell you she took anything else?
I cannot remember.
Permission to approach the witness, Your Honor. Did Ms. Salinas make any statements about consuming alcohol or drugs?
She stated that she did consume some CBD gummies.
What did you do after Ms. Salinas told you that she had eaten a weed gummy?
I asked her.
I'm going to object to use of the word weed gummy.
Oh, my apologies.
Sustained.
What did you do after Ms. Salinas informed you that she had consumed a THC edible?
I'm going to object to that too. That wasn't the testimony.
Sustained.
What did Ms. Salinas mean when she said she took an edible?
She advised me that it was from a dispensary in Commerce City, and it was to assist her in sleeping as she was not sleeping very well.
This was a CBD gummy that you stated?
Yes, sir.
And so after she made that statement, what did you do next?
From what I remember, I asked her if she would be willing to perform some voluntary roadside maneuvers.
And how did Ms. Salinas respond?
She stated that she did not want to.
Did she give you a reason why she didn't want to?
I believe that she said something about her legs hurting.
What did you do after the roadside tests?
Because I didn't perform any roadside maneuvers on her, I placed her under arrest based off of my findings.
Did you read the Colorado Express consent?
Yes, sir.
So what happened after you advised Ms. Salinas of the Colorado Express consent statute?
She did not want to provide a blood sample.
And what did you do after that?
I booked her through the Thornton Police Department, where she was released on a summons for the DUI.
Do you observe anything else that was odd about Ms. Salinas' demeanor or her statements?
From what I remember, she was just very flat, lack of expression. Her speech was a little bit slowed, but
Thank you, officer. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, officer.
good afternoon.
You testified just now that somebody called in and said they saw a crash, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You wrote a report in this case, right?
Correct.
Okay. Obviously, if somebody had called in and said they had seen a crash, that would be an important thing to include in your report, correct?
Correct.
Could I see that report?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I first witness?
Okay.
I just handed you your report, officer, correct?
Yes, sir.
I would like you to look through that report and find where you say that somebody called in and said there had been a crash.
There's not anywhere.
Okay. Officer, you also, dispatch keeps crons, correct?
Yes, sir.
You look at those crons, right?
Yes, sir.
And when somebody calls in, dispatch reports what they're saying in the crons, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, permission to approach?
Okay.
These are the crons from this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Scroll through those. Tell me if you find anywhere somebody says they saw a crash.
It does not appear anywhere.
And officer, the reason it doesn't appear anywhere in either the crons or your report is because nobody called in and said they saw a crash. I need a verbal answer.
Okay. I don't know how to respond to that, sorry.
It's a yes or no question.
Can you say it one more time?
Did anyone call in and say that there was a crash?
I believe at one point there was, but I don't know if it was associated to the same call.
Okay, so you think that somebody at some point that day called in and reported a crash in general?
Probably, yes, sir.
Okay, so somebody probably at some point that day called in and reported a crash. That's your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you don't know if the report of the crash had anything to do with Ms. Salinas, correct?
I cannot remember.
Okay, but you'd agree that in your report, you didn't write anything about a crash, correct?
Correct.
And you would agree that in the crons that dispatch provided you associated with this case, there's no mention of a crash, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so fair to assume that based on those two things, there was not in fact a report of a crash associated with Ms. Salinas, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You also told the court that you found several bottles and they were all essentially empty, correct?
I believe I said the majority of them were, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, let's talk about that. You took a picture of those bottles, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm showing opposing counsel the photograph the officer took. Oh. Officer, this is the photograph you took of the bottles you found in Ms. Salinas' car, correct?
Yes, sir.
I want you to look at this carefully.
Yep.
Had enough time to look at it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You found 3 bottles, right?
Yes, sir.
Of those 3 bottles, 2 were full, correct?
Yes, sir.
And they were sealed, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the third one appears to be over half full, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you said to the court just now that you found multiple bottles and the majority of them were almost empty, that was not true, correct?
Yes, sir. My fault.
Okay. And you did ask Ms. Salinas why she had those bottles, correct?
I believe so, yes. I can't remember.
Can't remember?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. So you have no idea why Ms. Salinas had those bottles?
At the moment, I cannot recall.
Okay. So based on your recollection, there could have been a totally innocent explanation for her having those bottles, correct?
Potentially, yes, sir.
Okay. You also said that you smelled alcohol on Ms. Salinas' breath, correct?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you were doing a DUI investigation, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you'd agree that alcohol, that's a pretty important clue during a DUI investigation, don't you?
The majority of the time, yes, sir.
And you're trained to write reports, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you're writing a report, especially in a DUI investigation, you want to include every sign of DUI impairment in your report, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if you had smelled alcohol on Miss Salinas' breath, you would have put that in your report, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you've got your report up there still, correct?
Yes, sir.
I would like you to go through and find where you put that you smelled alcohol on Miss Salinas' breath in your report.
Nowhere.
You didn't put it in your report?
No, sir.
You didn't smell alcohol on Miss Salinas' breath?
I guess not, sorry.
Okay. Miss Salinas told you she had one CBD gummy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you would agree that CBD is not a substance that can impair a person, correct?
I believe that a lot of substances can impair a person's ability to drive. Yes, sir.
Okay, and I actually wanted to follow up with that because you did tell Miss Salinas on the scene that caffeine can give someone a DUI, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it's your personal belief that caffeine can give a person a DUI, correct?
Yes, sir. It can impair somebody's ability to drive a motor vehicle.
Okay. And you talked on the phone with Miss Salinas' son, didn't you?
I believe so.
Okay, and he asked you how impaired his mom was, right?
I believe so.
And you said not substantially, didn't you?
I cannot remember.
Okay, you don't remember that part.
Correct.
Okay. You did arrest Miss Salinas, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and when you arrested her, you never read her Miranda rights, did you?
Correct.
Okay. You did ask her questions about the case, though, correct?
I probably did. I cannot remember.
And she probably responded to that, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you only gave her a choice of taking a blood test, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the reason you only gave her a choice of taking a blood test was because she had said she had one CBD gummy, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're aware that a blood test wouldn't detect CBD, correct?
I am not aware.
You didn't know that when they do a blood test, they don't test for CBD?
I am not aware.
Okay. Did you know that the reason the blood tests don't test for CBD is that CBD doesn't impair people?
I was not aware.
Okay. Let me ask you this. If a person said that they drank an energy drink, you believe caffeine can impair them, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if a person told you that they drank an energy drink, would you only offer them a blood test?
Probably, yes, sir.
Okay. So if a person, you pull someone over, they had an energy drink, you're invoking Colorado Express consent because of the energy drink, they can only do a blood test. That's your opinion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Officer Brown, why did you stop the vehicle?
I believe it was because I observed on the rear of the vehicle the number tabs to be expired.
Because of tabs, expired tabs?
Yes, sir.
Just so I'm clear, Officer Brown, it's your testimony that the defendant was not involved in any accident prior to you making contact with her. Is that correct?
Correct.
And it's also your testimony that you did not smell any alcohol on her breath when you made contact with her. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you.
People's next witness.
No further witnesses from the people, Your Honor.
Any witnesses from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Argument?
Yes, Your Honor. We'll start with the probable cause motion here. We just heard testimony that Officer Brown received a dispatch call from the reporting party stating they observed a vehicle at the driver in it taking a shot of a shooter. Officer stated that when he
Objection.
located.
We did not hear that testimony.
I did not hear that testimony.
That's weird. Okay.
I did not hear that testimony. His testimony initially was already or a witness observed the vehicle involved, specifically the defendant's vehicle was involved in an accident. He got the license plate and located and observed the vehicle and contacted the defendant.
Officer Brown could have assumed that, could have suspected that Ms. Salinas was also on marijuana or THC.
How?
That have similar effects.
He didn't testify to that. He did not testify. He thought that she was under the influence of marijuana.
Argument, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
This is just argument.
It is argument, but that wasn't the testimony.
I didn't say that he said that, Your Honor. I said CBD has similar effects to THC, but I wasn't saying that he ever said anything about THC, Your Honor.
Okay,
I was making a reasonable inference.
go ahead.
Based on those observations that Mr. Brown testified here to today, he did have reasonable suspicion and probable cause to proceed to roadsides. And with that probable cause, he had probable cause to proceed to Colorado Express consent. And then regarding the Miranda motion, the people concede the Miranda motion, Your Honor.
Probable cause is only established when the facts available to a reasonably cautious officer would warrant their belief that a crime is being or has been committed. That's a well-established principle in case law. The officer testified that Ms. Salinas had expired tabs. That was the reason for the stop. There's no evidence of bad driving, no suggestion of bad driving. The stop was predicated on expired tags per the officer's testimony. In the absence of other evidence that would suggest a consumption of alcohol, the officer did not have probable cause. Turning to express consent, in order to only offer a blood test, the officer does have to have probable cause to believe that a person was using drugs. I think the testimony outlined pretty clearly that the officer's opinion of what constitutes potential drug use does not fall in line with what the statute is meaning by potential drug use. CBD and THC are two different things. They just are. And so I think under the totality of the circumstances, the officer didn't have probable cause to have arrested Ms. Salinas for DUI in the first place. He did not have probable cause to offer only a blood test. Defense counsel is requesting that the court suppress the blood test.
Just so we're clear, there is no blood test.
Sorry, I meant suppress the refusal. I apologize, I misspoke. So that's my record for that.
Here the court heard testimony from Officer Brown of the Thornton PD, testified that on the alleged date of offense here, he responded to a call regarding a witness observing a vehicle involved in an accident. He observed the vehicle driving. He contacted the defendant. Officer Brown then later testified that he was not, in fact, given information about the defendant's vehicle being involved in the accident. Officer Brown testified that when he contacted or made contact with the defendant, he testified that he stopped the defendant for expired tabs. When he made contact with the defendant, he observed that the defendant was getting out of the vehicle, that she was not steady on her feet. He could smell an odor of unknown alcohol coming from the defendant's breath. The defendant admitted to him that she had consumed CBD gummies. Officer Brown later clarified that, specifically said, "I guess not," when he was asked about whether he did in fact smell any alcohol on the defendant's breath, given that was not stated in his report. As it relates to the shooters in the vehicle, the officer initially testified that there were shooters in the car and other bottles, that they were all mostly empty. He later clarified on cross-examination that there were only 3 bottles found in the vehicle that he saw, and 2 of them were unopened. The other was open, but it was approximately half full. Officer Brown testified that based on his observations and the defendant's statement about consuming CBD gummies, he did offer the defendant voluntary roadsides. The defendant declined. Specifically, she stated because of her leg. Officer Brown testified that at this time he placed the defendant under arrest, advised the defendant of express consent, and the defendant refused blood test. I should back up. He only offered the defendant a blood test, specifically because he believed that CBD can impair an individual. There was no testimony about THC. He also believes that caffeine can impair someone. So he only offered a blood test because he believed CBD impaired the defendant. Probable cause exists when the facts and circumstances within the officer's knowledge are sufficient to warrant a person of reasonable caution to believe an offense has been or is being committed. The totality of the circumstances must be taken into account. Here, based on the totality of the circumstances, that the reason the defendant was stopped was expired tabs, not because of a ready report indicating she was involved in an accident. The officer noting that the defendant was unsteady on her feet and had red bloodshot eyes. The defendant did explain that her leg hurt. There was no odor of alcohol on the defendant's breath. The defendant did not admit to consuming any alcohol or drugs. There was an admission of CBD gummies. Here, the court finds that based on the totality of circumstances, there was not probable cause to place the defendant under arrest for driving under the influence. Based on the totality of the circumstances, the court finds that there was not probable cause to request the SFSTs. Based on the totality of circumstances, the court finds that there was not probable cause to invoke express consent as it relates to the violation of express consent only offering blood test. As I stated, the court finds that there was not probable cause to invoke express consent to request only a blood test. The court understands that the prosecution concedes the motion alleging violation of Miranda. Accordingly, the court grants defendant's motion to suppress based on lack of probable cause and violation of express consent. The court grants defendant's motion to suppress the refusal of the roadsides, again, finding that there was no probable cause for the arrest or probable cause to even request the SFSTs, or grants the motion to suppress statements based on violation of Miranda as conceded by the prosecution. I'll let the prosecution decide how it wants to proceed given my rulings today.
Want me to decide that right now, Your Honor?
If you're ready, you can talk to your supervisor if you wish, but
No, we can dismiss the DUI, Your Honor. We'll keep the DUR and the license plate as well. So I guess it's become a traffic case. But I can dismiss it on record, or I can fill out a...
so granted. The remaining charges are the license plate, tabs, and driving after revocation. This matter proceeds at the status conference August 19th at 8:30, and jury trial September 3rd, 8:15. Anything further on this matter?
How can the people, Your Honor?
Not from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Salinas.